Hi guys, so Micheál Martin, the Irish Taoiseach, responded to Boris Johnson's attempt to undermine the Withdrawal Agreement and therefore, of course, the Good Friday Agreement. Boris Johnson, of course, said that he needed to do this to save the Good Friday Agreement. Of course, the Irish government and the European Union don't see it that way. So let's hear what the Irish Taoiseach had to say.
But I was in Parliament today and I think there was genuine annoyance and anger articulated from a number of quarters. I think particularly at the statement made by the Northern Ireland Secretary yesterday to the effect that, yes, the UK were going to break international law. I think the manner in which that came across, I think, left a lot of people aghast. There was a necessity really to articulate our deep disappointment at how all of this developed, and our outright opposition to this approach to negotiations. In Europe, there's a lot of anger towards this and the manner in which this happened. In Ireland, there clearly is. I articulated that. Trust has been eroded. Tension has been created. Doubts have been created. And that's not conducive to solid negotiations. I'm not optimistic at this stage. I think already the progress has been slow. I think it needs real political will.
Okay, so what happened was Boris Johnson wrote or was part of the writing of the Withdrawal Agreement bill. It was rushed through Parliament for two reasons. He didn't want two groups of people actually reading it. He didn't want the ERG, the hardline Brexiteers, reading it. And he didn't want quote-unquote Remainer MPs reading it either. So if it was rushed through Parliament, politicians didn't have a chance to read it. They wouldn't be able to see, well, this is a problem. You know, on the Brexiteer side, you know, they wouldn't have supported it because of what was inside it. Now, how did Boris Johnson get the ERG to support it? Well, he basically told them, don't worry, I will throw it away as soon as it becomes a problem. So they voted for it under the impression that Boris Johnson would throw it away, or at least undermine parts of it. This is how the Tories operate. It's certainly not above board. It's always, and I've said this before, and I've said it since Theresa May was Prime Minister, everything is tactical. There's no long-term strategy. Boris Johnson, okay, I need to get this bill through Parliament. What can I do in order just to get it through Parliament? And then after, I'll worry about that problem when it arrives. There's no long-term strategy. And now this tactic has run out. It has served its purpose and is no longer functioning. So now Boris Johnson is being forced to break international law in order to keep Brexiteers on side. Why? Because they will challenge him. They could bring him down. This is all, and I've said before, this is all about defending Boris Johnson's position in Parliament. Boris Johnson is trying to play a balancing act. He wants to have a deal, but he wants to keep the hardline Brexiteers on board. They don't want a deal, but he needs to have a deal because if he ends the transition period without some sort of deal, he'll be booted out of Parliament. The Tories won't tolerate it because what will happen, as we've seen in Operation Yellowhammer, there will be chaos. Morrison's supermarket released a statement yesterday saying that food prices are going to increase if there's no deal. This is no longer Project Fear. These are businesses who are in the know are saying that prices are going to increase. And who's going to be affected by that? Once again, the poor. Now, another problem with breaking international law is that the United States will not be happy or not be willing to do a trade deal with you. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi, the majority leader in the House of Congress with the Democrats, has said that if Northern Ireland peace is undermined, we're not going to give you a trade deal. You can kiss it goodbye. She was quite straight about that. on Channel 4 News yesterday, they interviewed a member of Congress who's part of this Irish lobby, and he has explained that the Irish lobby is bipartisan, so it includes Republicans and Democrats, and they have said that Boris Johnson's new bill undermines the Good Friday Agreement, and they have said if he doesn't change direction, he's not getting a trade deal. We are not going to give him one. This issue of peace in Northern Ireland is more important to them, the Americans, and especially this Irish lobby, which is quite powerful in Congress. It's more important to them that peace in Northern Ireland remains than giving Boris Johnson a trade deal. So Boris Johnson is doing all of this to protect his position. He's willing to damage the UK's reputation on the world stage. He's willing to put peace in Northern Ireland at risk. He's willing to throw away the possibility of having a trade deal with the United States to satisfy the Brexiteers in his party, because he's afraid of them. He's afraid that they are the ones who will bring him down, in the same way that they brought down Theresa May. I still don't know what's going to happen. I have somewhat of a feeling that Boris Johnson is doing this in order to pressure the EU as well. He's playing two games. He's trying to keep the Brexiteers on board, but he's also trying to pressure the EU into giving him some sort of deal. Look, I'm going to risk peace in Northern Ireland, something that you care about, in order to get a trade deal. Even a bare bones one. I don't know if that's going to work. I think that's what he probably wants. He wants to keep the Brexiteers on board, but also have some sort of trade deal, even a very basic one, to save his skin. But I don't know if it's going to work any longer. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?